Hello. Thank you. First of all, I totally lied to the ladies at lunch today. They were asking me if I was going to ask a question, and I said no, I would be way too afraid to go up there.
But
It
after a little calibrating, you had no fear.
yeah, it came to me. This
Just
room is
eagerness.
just full of calibration, so
Yeah,
it's hard not to
yeah.
need it. So I arrived at the party a little while ago, and I'm just loving life. It's just leading me to these amazing people, and I'm bringing people in like crazy. I have no doubt that I've always created and continue to create my reality. I have complete understanding, and there is just no question that what I ask for will come to me from source.
Yeah.
My
From
confusion.
source and all sources, subcontractors.
Oh my gosh. I don't even need to ask my question now. That was my question. This is where my confusion lies. What is happening right now? I don't- my blockage, my confusion comes when the gifts come in the form of a person offering it. And
Yeah,
I
because they want in on it. And their
pardon?
inner beings know that they want in on it.
I know.
And
Okay, so this is where it's
so if
confusing
you
for
don't let
me.
someone give to you, then you can't ever receive
And
anything.
I understand that if I've asked for it, that source is providing this person as a vehicle to give it to me. I have that awareness when I'm not standing in the moment. When I'm standing in the moment, I suddenly, all of my unworthiness comes rushing
Try
back.
to ask yourself in those situations. You have to sort of get out ahead of it a little bit. So you can't do it cold turkey, but begin plotting the course through your calibrating each day as your segment intending by saying things like, I love my personal acknowledgement of the avenues through which my blessings are flowing, and I understand the perfection of the path of least resistance the source is chosen in every case. Something like that, so that you're ready for it. But it's really helpful when you're in the moment of something, when your energy's a little wonky, where it could go either way and you're aware of it and you're calibrating even while it's happening. A really good thing to ask of yourself is, I wonder what my inner being is thinking about this right now. And once you get tuned to your inner being so that you easily can tap into what your inner being is thinking, then you will experience the win-win of it. Now, you're bringing up some things in your vibration that you haven't spoken, but they're big and we're happy about them and we want to talk about them. You're going to like this. All day today, we've been talking about the law of attraction. And we're talking about you each as individual points of attraction. And we're talking about whatever you've got going on, you're under the influence of who you really are or something else, but you've got a point of attraction going on. So let's say that you have decided, long ago you did this, but let's say it's active in your vibration right now, that you are an uplifter and that you have gifts to give and that you want to give and you take great satisfaction in giving. And sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it gets all wonky. And you might ask, well, I'm in the act of giving, and it worked out well in this case, but not so well in this case. What's the difference? And we just want you to feel this softly because as you move forward, it'll come into full awareness for you. So just consider this. Let's say that in your tuning to who you are, that your inner being has helped you to line up with someone who has in a strong way been asking for something. And there you are, all tuned in, receiving the impulse, and there you are. Happened to Esther on the way to the airport in San Diego yesterday. She was on her way to the airport. She knows the way. She's been there many times. But instead of turning where she knows to turn, she got distracted by something that she was thinking, us, and off she went down into Never Never Land, and it's under construction, and you can't get there from there in any easy way. And as she's sitting there trying to figure out what to do, a man over on the corner is standing there with a sign. And she rolled her window down and she said, I think I'm here for you. And so she said, come over here, but please don't get run over on the way. That would spoil everything. And she gave him $50. Now, what that is someone who likes to give and someone who was wanting to receive. But this is the clarification that we want to give you. He was not feeling guilty about receiving. He was not conflicted about receiving. He was expecting to receive. The win-win of it was clean all the way through. But now, what if Esther had overheard someone talking? What if it hadn't been guided? What if she had just decided, I'm giving, damn it, and I'm giving to someone today? So she's sniffing around, waiting to hear somebody that needs something, and she finds someone who is expressing their need for something, and she gives them something. But now it doesn't feel quite so good because it's not open and fluid and flowing. And the reason is not because Esther doesn't like to give. The reason is because that person that she's giving to's energy was not clean in the receiving. In fact, they hate rich people. They don't even like the car she's driving at all. They talk smack about anybody that has any money all the time, and yet they want money all the time, and now Esther is giving. Now, it's the same action. It's the same action, but a whole different experience. You get what we're saying? Because it wasn't a win-win. It wasn't a pure positive energy and a pure positive energy. So this is what we're saying to you. So many of you have been living your lives through the shoulds and shouldn'ts that you've picked up along your physical trail. And so you're thinking in terms of the behavior or the action or the subject, and you're trying to live your lives accordingly. Where when you discover this new, fresh understanding of calibrating to who you really are, anytime you feel a strong impulse, if you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to who you really are, the recipient of your offering will be standing there in the place of mutual receptivity. And it will be this delicious co-creating experience that you have all come to live. You've come to give and take, to receive. You've come to ask and answer. It's just this perfect mixture of pure positive energy beings, all here for the purpose of all of it moving forward. And there's not right and wrong in it. There's just aligned and not aligned in it. There's just feeling good and not feeling good in it. You see what we're getting at? So that's what we can feel from you. What's confusing you is that you're not always calibrated when you go through the motions of what you think should be the behavior that should bring you the results that you want. Did you hear that? If you're not calibrated to the energy, if you're not calibrated to your true guidance, but you're going through the motions that you've learned are the righteous or the humility or the appropriate things to do, that's why you keep being confused. That's why things keep backfiring. That's why things keep doubling back around on you. And so what we're just saying to you is, we've been reaching for a way to say this for a while, and this is the perfect timing to say it. In every moment in time that you are aware or observing, there are two possibilities of what you might observe. One is the subject, the rule, the law, the condition, the history, the behavior, the manifestational part of it, the humanness of it. And the other is the vibrational calibration, always right there. Humans usually jump to the behavior that you read in the books or that you heard from somebody else, and then you keep getting your feelings hurt because you're doing the things that you believe are the right things to do, but you're not feeling good. And what you're doing isn't helping somebody else, and you don't feel blessed when you are doing it from the book rather than from your personal, perfect calibration with Source, who is with you all day, every day, who knows who you are, who knows what you want, and who knows where the most expedient means of fulfilling the perfection that is you is right here, right now. Did you hear that? We think you did. So you could break it down in a way that would be easier for you to hear. By the way, we want to say to you, a lot of you are relatively new to this, and you managed to calibrate yourself into understanding here today. It's a good thing. What you know as a result of what's happened here today will serve you forevermore. You just watch and see. And another way that you might say this, another way that you might put it into a framework that is practical and doable for you would be this: I'm reaching for the emotional subject. Here it is. There are choices all over the place: rights and wrongs, Republicans and Democrats, straights and gays, blacks and whites, and millions of other distinguishing labels and titles. Or there are a few emotions: love or hate, secure or insecure, peace, well being, more, tuned, calibrated. And if you begin to approach your moments in time just by, when you're looking at something, you just stop and say, what am I looking at? And then you give it the emotional label rather than the complicated, endless layers and layers and layers and layers of labels. You'll know right away. Should I jump in with both feet, or should I just gravitate somewhere else? Your life is going to be so much easier for you to navigate when you allow yourself to be inspired by what your inner being knows about every single thing. Because in that pile of people with all of those labels, there are always those who are resonating with the very best of you. And the most satisfying thing for those like you, teachers, healers, uplifters, the most satisfying thing for you is to catch somebody on the brink of calibrating to their source, and you are the tipping point. It just does not get any better than that. And those who are nowhere near it, spare them the discomfort of your alignment.